The battle over Britney Spears' conservatorship is back in court tomorrow. Spears is fighting to end the conservatorship after calling it abusive in testimony last month. But now she could have a new advocate in her corner. Kaylee Hartung has the latest.
This morning, the battle over Britney Spears' future heating up. A court hearing this week set to address a major question in her conservatorship case. Will a judge allow her to hire her own attorney? According to the New York Times, Spears is now in discussions with former federal prosecutor Matthew Rosengart to represent her. For her 13 years under conservatorship, Spears has been under the counsel of a court-appointed lawyer, Samuel Ingham. In last month's hearing, Spears pleading with the court to let her hire her own, criticizing Ingham's management of her case. Ingham has since petitioned the court to let him resign. Now Rosengart will reportedly attend Wednesday's hearing to make his case to the judge. The prominent Hollywood veteran has represented high-profile stars like Steven Spielberg, Julia Louis-Dreyfus, and Sean Penn. Penn telling The Times Rosengart is a tough-as-nails street fighter with a big brain and bigger principles. Since Spears' bombshell statement in court, Larry Rudolph, her manager since the mid-90s, also resigning, citing the pop star's desire to retire from her music career. And Bessemer Trust, the company tasked with overseeing her nearly $60 million estate alongside her father, Jamie, granted its request to be removed as co-conservator. Her co-conservator of person, Jody Montgomery, blasting Jamie Spears after he told the court Montgomery does not reflect Britney's wishes. In court documents, Montgomery claiming Jamie has used more than $2 million of his daughter's money to defend himself, both in court and the public eye. Montgomery sharing screenshots of text messages she says Britney sent her, asking for her help, telling her, quote, "I need you to stay as my co-conservator of person. I am asking you for your assistance in getting a new attorney." So, Diane, if Britney Spears wants to regain control of her life, it's going to take more than just the impassioned pleas we heard her make to a judge last month. It is going to take an aggressive and drastic change in her legal strategy, and perhaps this Hollywood heavyweight is the one to help her win that fight. But when you look at this latest court filing from Jody Montgomery, it really further highlights the division and the dissension among the people who are currently in control of Britney's life and finances. Jody Montgomery saying that what Jamie Spears has done amounts to mudslinging and finger-pointing in recent days. She says he has turned what should be a protective proceeding for his daughter into litigation warfare. So now that battle continues in court tomorrow, Diane.
All right, we'll be watching. Kaylee Hartung, thank you. And for more, let's bring in family law attorney David Glass to help us analyze this. David, thanks for being here. What will it mean for Britney if the court allows her to hire her own attorney?
It's going to mean a lot to Britney and in the direction of her case. For whatever reason, Britney feels that she hasn't been able to get along with her court-appointed attorney, Samuel Ingham, either because they can't communicate or they don't agree on the focus or they can't agree on the process to follow. Whatever the reason, she expressed that to the court. Mr. Ingham heard her and asked to resign, and now Courtney is out courting a new attorney. The problem the court is going to have is that right now the court's ruling decision is that that Britney does not have the capacity to choose her own attorney. So the court is going to have to work with its own procedures to try and find a way to get her own attorney.
And how do they do that? Given the court's current stance on Britney's mental capacity, how do they ensure that the attorney that she chooses isn't someone who's just trying to take advantage of her?
Well, the interesting thing here, Diane, is that the conservator of the person, Jody Montgomery, has proposed that the court appoint a guardian ad litem, a skilled attorney who could then interview Britney, interview the attorney, do his own investigation to determine whether this is the right attorney, whether Britney understands the decision she's making, and then report back to the court. It's essentially a procedural shortcut to get around the question of, does Britney currently have the capacity to choose her own attorney?
So if approved, what's the first thing you expect this new attorney to do?
I think the first thing the attorney will do is file a petition to terminate the conservatorship. It's clear that's where Britney wants this thing to move. But what the attorney is going to have to deal with is the conflicting interests of the court in needing some sort of expert testimony from a doctor or a psychiatrist or neuropsychologist to come out and say that Britney has regained her capacity, and on the other hand, Britney's own feeling that she does not want further evaluations in order to get out of this conservatorship.
So what's the likelihood, you think, that she does get out of the conservatorship if this approach comes through?
I think eventually she will get out of this conservatorship. Again, conservatorships for people with mental health issues typically don't last 13 years. And so if people get treatment and they get on medication and they have their attorneys working with them, they tend to be short-term solutions. If Britney truly has regained her capacity and has whatever mental health issues that she had 13 years ago under control, this thing will end. It's just going through the process of having to file a petition, having the certain number of days pass before the court can consider that petition, and then having all of the other parties argue it in live court before the court can make that important decision.
And we heard some passionate testimony from Britney at the last hearing, saying she was being forced to work and prevented from removing her IUD, even though she wants another child. And those are just two of several accusations. So could Britney's father or any other conservators face legal repercussions for those accusations?
You know, the interesting thing about most of Britney's complaints is most of them had to do with her health, her treatment, her reproductive rights. Those are all the rights that are held by the conservator of her person, and that's Jody Montgomery. The conservator of her estate, her father, Jamie, he's charged only with managing her money, establishing a budget, and approving costs. So although she's complaining about her father's management of her case, her father isn't technically the person who's in charge of making those personal decisions for her right now. But to answer your question, as long as the conservators were acting in Britney's best interests and considering, on one hand, her requests and on the other hand, her mental state at the time, it's unlikely that they will be charged with any wrongdoing.
All right, family law attorney David Glass. We appreciate it, David. Thank you.
Thanks for having me.
Hi, everyone. George Stephanopoulos here. Thanks for checking out the ABC News YouTube channel. If you'd like to get more videos, show highlights, and watch live event coverage, click on the right over here to subscribe to our channel. And don't forget to download the ABC News app for breaking news alerts. Thanks for watching.